FGCL here at Lakewood Ranch, and we've got a couple dandies coming up for you here on this Friday, opening up with the Bradenton Lynx and the Myakka City River Mocs, 2-3 in the standings. Should be a lot of fun. I'm Gray Robertson. Glad that you are with us. Jim Delaney also here,
That's right.
and you're going to be perusing around, picking up stories as we go along. Should be a lot of fun to watch these two teams battle it out, and we've got the top three teams in the standings here on this field tonight. A lot could change in the standings by the time we head home.
Yeah, the competition is stiffening up here as we are ending week number 2, first full week of the FGCL, the inaugural season down here in Bradenton. This is the first time I know that Stream Live Tampa has been at Lakewood Ranch, so we want to thank everybody from the Lakewood Ranch complex as we watch the River Mocs and the Lynx play tonight. So this should be exciting for the 5 o'clock game.
Yeah, it should be a lot of fun. River Mocs, the designated home team. Lynx will bat first. Bradenton Lynx 4-2 on the summer. River Mocs 5-1, tied for first at the top of the standings, technically second because of a tiebreaker. Michaela Frazier will lead off for Bradenton. In there for strike one. In the circle for the River Mocs, it's the right-handed junior from Nebraska Kearney, Sarah Handerhan. Festus, Missouri native so far this summer, a 3.5 ERA in 6 innings pitched, giving up 3 runs all earned. Waits on the off speed. And the throw from Emily Ericson is in time for out number 1. The lineup for the Lynx, you just saw Michaela Frazier in the 2 spot. Coming up to the plate now, Hannah Famiano. Devin Flaherty bat, Haley Lee batting 4th. Gabby Ruiz in the 5 spot. Mackenzie Woods batting 6th. More 7-hole. Ashley Likens 8th. Jalen Ford batting 9th. And Sajari Jones closing it out in the 10 spot. By now, all of you should probably know 10 spots in the batting order here in the FGCL. Famiano down the left side, just foul. Famiano, a junior last year for Eckerd out of Tampa, Florida. She has had a great season so far, 5 for 10. And week 2 has been hot. That's why she's up in the 2 spot, 3 for 4 with a double. It was 0 for 2 the first time these two teams met, as we have now cycled through all the opponents once. So everybody will be seeing each other for a second time the rest of the weekend.
Just missed. Yeah, again, everybody can tune in live on Facebook, Stream Live Tampa, our YouTube channel, Stream Live Tampa, and at Stream Live Tampa on Twitter.
Upstairs, 2-1. Handerhan actually saw the Lynx in that opening night game last Thursday. Went 2 innings in relief, 4 hits, 3 runs. They were all earned, 2 walks and 2 strikeouts. But getting the start tonight for head coach Michaela Transu. Just missed, 3-1. And the Lynx have used their potent offense well. In innings 1 through 3, the Bradenton Lynx are outscoring opponents 31-11, but being outscored 16-7 in the innings that follow. Trying to get off to another hot start. Full count now to Famiano. And we would love to have you a part of the conversation for this game. You can tweet me at Gray_Robertson. You can tweet at Stream Live Tampa. You can comment on, what is it, the Twitch, the Facebook Live, the
There's
Zoom.
Twitch as well.
Are we on Zoom? Is that possible? Maybe. Payoff, Famiano. Fouled off again. Defense for the River Mocs. Maggie Turgo out in left. Jenny Jansen in center. Gabby Benson in right. Third base, Emily Ericson. Lizzie Schubert at short. Quinones at second. Leonard at first. And Alyssa Mullis behind the dish. That one right to Turgo for out number 2. And Handerhan working quickly. Here's Devin Flaherty. Freshman last year for the Florida State Seminoles, led by Lonnie Alameda. Team that was kind of all over the place in 2020. Started it off red hot in Tallahassee, but then went 1-4 in the SPC Elite Invitational.
Good pitch.
Flaherty on the summer, hitting .474, 9 of 19 with 7 ribbies, a couple homers, a triple, a double, 524 OBP, and she is 5 of 8 here in week 2 with 2 RBI. Swing and a miss. You'll see the change a lot from Handerhan. She's got a fastball, rise ball, but that change up, one that she likes to get for swings and misses. Go-to is the rise. See if she goes to a chase rise out of the zone here, up 0-2. She did. Flaherty held off, 1-2.
As always, your scouting report is spot on so far, Gray.
Well, I hope it would be. Flaherty stands in. 2 outs, nobody on. Top of the first, scoreless game between the Lynx and the River Mocs. These two teams met on opening night. An 8-6 victory for the River Mocs in extra innings. Waits on it, out to center. Jansen will run in and make the catch for out number 3 to retire the side. Sarah Handerhan does nice work in the top of the first, and now we will see the River Mocs offense that has been doing just enough pretty much all season long, not overpowering everybody. Not the highest scoring offense in the league, but they found a way to get the necessary runs as we head to the bottom of the first, still scoreless.
They've been the cardiac kids.
They have.
Early on. There's been a lot of fight in them with the River Mocs. Coach Michaela Transu has said how well this team has played together, especially from day one in the minicamp at Square Up Academy before the season started. And it's showing on the field because they just don't give up, and they've had quite a few tight games.
Well, take a look at this week. They opened the week with a 4-2 victory over the Pioneers, a game they trailed 2-1 headed to the top of the 7th. A 3-2 loss to the Squeeze, a game they trailed 3-1 headed to the bottom of the 7th and had the winning run on second base, and then a 5-4 victory over Shannon Sale, and the Slice yesterday. So, again, they've played with fire, but they've yet to really get burned, and we'll see what the offense can do against the Lynx tonight with Abigail Morgan in the circle.
And like we had said, as the league has started to settle in now, 7 games into the season, we're starting to see some parity near the top 3 teams, 4 teams within a couple games of each other. And as they've gone through the rotation and seen each other now for a second time. And we had said that from day one. Well, hey, once these teams start getting settled in, and they're going to get competitive with each other, and it should be a fun season.
River Mocs made a move yesterday to put Mac Leonard at the top of the order. She has been one of the hottest bats in the league. She'll start off against Abigail Morgan in the circle for the Lynx. Leonard, a sophomore out of Illinois State. And first pitch right up the middle for a base hit. And Mac Leonard continues her impressive season, now 10 of 19 this summer. Lineup for the River Mocs coming up to the plate in the 2 spot, Ari Quinones, Emily Erickson batting 3rd, Lizzie Schubert cleaning it up, Jenny Jansen batting 5th, Kaylee Erickson batting 6th, Gabby Benson batting 7th. She had a home run against the Slice last night. Claire Ginder in the 8th spot, Alyssa Mullis batting 9th, and Maggie Turgo batting 10th. Here's Quinones, first pitch fouled off. Abigail Morgan in the circle, sophomore last year for Florida Atlantic, righty out of Monticello, Florida. So far this summer, an ERA of 0, 6 2/3 innings pitched, 6 hits, 2 runs, both were unearned, 2 walks, 5. He's 1-0 so far in the FGCL. Quinones lays down a bunt. Tough play to first is in time from Woods for out number 1.
And we do want to thank from Stream Live Tampa, whoever's running the University of Washington softball Twitter account. They've tagged us quite a bit talking about Stormy and Ari being Washington Huskies. And we appreciate the love coming from the Northwest down here at Stream Live Tampa. So we appreciate everybody noticing the work that we're doing.
I'm glad you said that so I didn't have to say anything nice about Washington. Here's Emily Erickson, first pitch strike. Defense for the Bradenton Lynx. Jones out in left, Likens in center, Famiano in right. Ruiz at 3rd, Flaherty at short, Frazier at 2nd, Ford at 1st, and Mackenzie Woods already showing off her stuff behind the dish for Abigail Morgan. Emily Erickson at the plate. At a BYU senior for the Cougars, using the waiver, coming back to play in Provo next year. So far on the summer, 3 for 16, a 188 average with a home run and 3 RBI. And those 3 RBI came on a home run against the Lynx in the opener. And she clearly is comfortable against the Bradenton Lynx. That's a base hit. Runners on the corners with 1 out. Scouting report on Abigail Morgan. 63 to 64, maybe 65 miles per hour. Movement, she can mix speeds. Got a curveball. She throws it up in the zone with a rise. Change up as well. Drop ball. She's got a lot of tools. Lynx will need her to go pretty far because they threw both Hobbs and Bauer last night in the victory over the Pioneers. And right up the middle from Lizzie Schubert for the RBI. And very quickly, it's 1-0 River Mocs as Lizzie Schubert out of Stetson has RBI number 9 so far this summer.
She was the player of the week in week 1 through Justin's World of Softball. Awarded her player of the week in week 1 down here in the FGCL, and she's been staying hot.
Well, they are just mowing through
Yeah, they are.
Early in the count, not even giving us a chance to read stats or lineups. I thank Jenny Jansen for taking a moment to step in the box. Junior last year for Southern Illinois out of Warrenton, Maryland. 333 summer average with 3 ribbies and a double, 368 OBP. First pitch low. Jansen in week 2, a little cold, 2 of 8. Struck out 3 times. She was 2 of 4 against the Lynx in their first meeting with an RBI. 2019 first team all Missouri Valley Conference. In there for strike 1. Typically it is the Lynx that gets off to a hot start, but right now the River Mocs trying to build upon a 1-0 early lead in the bottom of the first. Just foul, 1-2. Jansen stands in. Ericson at second, Schubert at first. That one slapped off the glove of Ruiz at third. I'll give her the base hit. Bases are loaded. Right to Ruiz. Maybe a split second slow in the reaction. And now the bases are juiced with 1 out here in the bottom of the first.
You're in a good mood if you award that a hit.
I'm going to give it to her. I've been a little harsh so far since the league began. I'll be nice this time. I'll go more Randy than Simon when grading some of these. Meeting in the circle for the Lynx as the head coach, Lindsay Fico, came out. Third-year head coach at Santa Fe. 2021 will be that third season. Florida grad, played for our good friend Karen Johns, and then with Tim Walton in his first couple seasons in Gainesville. Another BYU player, Kaylee Ericson, with her sister over on third. Ericson, a freshman last year for the Cougars out of Phoenix, Arizona, just like Emily. And Kaylee has had the hotter bat so far to start the summer. 313 average, 5 of 16, 2 RBI, a homer, a couple doubles. 353 on-base percentage. Outside, hitters count 2-0.
So the new motto for the River Mocs has been mock and roll. And they could be off rolling here soon. They're a big hit here with bases loaded, 1 out.
I was about to say, certainly mocking and rolling so far here in the first. Low, 3-0, and Morgan struggling a bit to find the strike zone. Emily Ericson is at third. Lizzie Schubert is at second. Jenny Jansen's at first. Kaylee Ericson at the plate. Should be all take here. She is. Strike 1. Lynx with a .921 fielding percentage so far this summer. Right about in the middle, maybe lower half of the teams we've seen in terms of defense. And that one right to third. Ruiz steps on the bag. The throw home is in time.
And that's the way to
for
go
out
with it.
number 3. Double play by Ericson. Ruiz makes amends for the mistake, and the River Mocs only get one across here in the bottom of the first.
So bases loaded, 3-0, only one out. You get a bang-bang play, great play by the third baseman. Touch on third, and then you had to make the tag at home because the force was out. So I'm always a defensive person. Defense gets you out of jams like that, keeps you in games, even when you're not hitting. And we'll see if the Lynx can capitalize on that after that inning could have been a lot worse. They only gave up one.
Well, for sure. I mean, 4 hits and only 1 run coming across. That's a spectacular job by the defense, and I'm sure a big pick-me-up for Abigail Morgan because it looked like she was really laboring. Threw a lot of balls in that Ericson at-bat to get behind 3-0 and saw the River Mocs attacking early in the count, and now the Lynx will have to turn it over on offense. They've been ahead in most of their games early on in the contest, but now trailing 1-0 through 1.
Yeah, we'll see if the big bats can pick up Morgan. She didn't throw many pitches, though, like you said, because the Mocs were attacking her early in the count, even though they had a lot of runners on base and had 4 hits that inning. So that's one thing in her favor. But we'll see if Coach Fico's lineup can scratch one on the board here.
Again, folks, coming up after this game, and we are all on time. Umpires were here. Everything's great as I knock on the invisible wood in the air. Coming up after this will be Pioneers and Squeeze. Squeeze are 5-1. That one was an opening day loss to the Pioneers, which now looms pretty large. A game the Squeeze probably could have had, but the Pioneers were able to pull it out, and now the Squeeze will try and get revenge. Looking for maybe some help from the Lynx to take over solo first. Lynx will try and answer here in the top of the second with 4-5-6. Haley Lee, Gabby Ruiz, and Mackenzie Woods. Here is Lee, the fighting Texas Aggie, for Joe Evans out in College Station. Change low to Lee, sophomore last year for A&M out of Kingwood, Texas. So far this summer, 294 average, 5-17 with 5 runs batted in, a homer, a double, 400 OBP. And she has really seen the production go up here in week 2. 3 of 8, 4 runs batted in. She had that homer, a 3-run shot against the Impact. Was 1 for 4 with a double and a run scored against the River Mocs in the opener. Ahead 2-0, see if she gets one to drive. Doesn't, 3-0. And there is a game going on right now as well over on the other field. It is the Impact and Fast Pitch U. We'll give you updates on that as it moves forward. In fact, there's already a score. We'll let you know after this at-bat. Just missed. 4-pitch walk, and Lee is the first base runner for the Bradenton Lynx. Yeah, over on the other field, Fast Pitch U had their hearts ripped out last night. They led 8-3 over the Squeeze through 4. Squeeze came back with 4 runs in the 7th and 5 in the 8th to get the extra innings win, 13-8 over Fast Pitch U. And now they're in the bottom of the first, and the Impact has a 2-0 lead on FPU. Both those teams trying to move up in the standings. Here is Gabby Ruiz out of Liberty. Freshman last year for the Flames, hometown of Miami, Florida. Let's see if she tries to put something down. Shows bunt, too high. Ruiz, 6 for 18 this summer. 3 ribbies, 2 doubles. Walked a couple times, scored 4 runs. Was 1 for 3 with an RBI and a walk. And a run scored against the River Mocs in the opener. But just 2 for 9 here in week 2. Shows bunt again. Laid down. Mac Leonard has it. Quinones covering on the sack bunt. And Lee advances for second. 1 down. Lee in scoring position. Chance for Mackenzie Woods. Incoming freshman off to North Florida. North Fort Myers, Florida native. Also catching today, we saw her in the cleanup position against the Pioneers last night. 313 summer average with 6 runs batted in. She does have a homer, does have a double. Either of those would work for head coach Lindsay Fico right now. 1 for 2 with a homer against the River Mocs. Strike 1. Lynx on the week, 2-1. A 1-0 decision to the Squeeze on Monday. Tough loss for them, but then came back, beat the Impact 7-4, and last night held off a furious Pioneers rally to win 4-3. Way up in the air. Are we in danger? No, we are not. Just foul ball, 1 and 2. We've got a tent, but with enough force, I don't really trust it to hold up against something falling from the sky.
I trust my hands. I'll protect you, Greg.
Oh, thank you. No, protect the equipment.
That's right.
Equipment first. We'll be fine. There's a Walgreens around here somewhere. 1-2 to Woods. Off speed. She waited on it. Over to Schubert. 2 down. But Lee is at third. For Morgan Overitis. Overitis batting 7th. She led off for the Lynx in the opener and had a home run in the first inning. Only long ball of the summer so far. She's driven in 4 runs. Sophomore out of Virginia Tech, Michigan transfer.
I was going to ask, still hanging on to that maize and blue.
I've really enjoyed watching her with the Michigan headwear and the Virginia Tech shirts when they've had practice. Although that was last week. Guess Pete DeMore did not send her with a helmet. Strike 1. Overitis hitting what I think for her would be considered a disappointing 214 so far this summer. 4 runs batted in, but a 421 OBP. She was 2 of 4 against the River Mocs in the opener. Looking for her first hit of week 2. 2-1. Handerhan has the sign. Up top, 3-1. This will be the pitch Overitis is looking for right now. Trying to drive in Haley Lee, who's over at third base with 2 outs. A lot of room out in the right center gap. Popped up, headed foul, full count.
Andrian really hides that changeup well. I mean, even from this angle, we're on her right side, kind of, and it's still tough to see it.
What a chance for Handerhan as well. This league is so good for so many players, but she's going to go to Nebraska Kearney, having faced a lot of talented offensive players here in the FGCL. Big pitch early in this game. Full count. Too high. That's a walk, and runners are on the corners here in the top of the second with 2 down. But that brings up Ashley Likens, who has been in a bit of a slump since the summer began. 1 for 14 so far this season with an RBI. That was an RBI double. She'll get a brief second to think about it as Michaela Transu comes out to chat with Handerhan. Transu, the volunteer assistant at Missouri, coaching under Larissa Anderson after playing for Larissa Anderson at Hofstra for 5 seasons, redshirted in 17. And then was all Colonial Athletic Association in 2018. Talking to her infield before this very pivotal early at-bat. It's 1-0. River Mocs in control. It appeared in the bottom of the first, but then they hit into a double play with the bases loaded. Lynx trying to answer. Likens, the incoming freshman, off to Furman out of Naples, Florida. Strike 1. Just missed. 1-1. Likens in the opener, just one at bat, was 0 for 1 against Mayaca City. Hit .615 as a senior at Naples High School. Lindsey Fico looking for a big-time hit.
Yeah, talking with the Lynx players before the game, a lot of Florida talent down here. A lot of kids that came from the state of Florida, played high school, and traveled down here.
Only a couple of folks on the team not from Florida, and ironically, both are on base. Lee at third, Overitis at first. 1-2. That one right to third and snagged by Emily Ericson for out number 3. The liner ends the inning for the Lynx, and Strands 2 on base. And the River Mocs will look to get some more as we head to the bottom of the second. River Mocs up 1-0 against the Bradenton Lynx.
Again, you can watch us on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and we're on Twitch as well. All games are recorded and put on our YouTube channel, Stream Live Tampa, after, whether we have good signal or not a good signal. So sometimes both happens, but fear not, all games are recorded and none are going to be missed. You can just watch them at a later time, whether they are streamed live or if there's a technical issue that we troubleshoot as quick as we can. But we're down here in Lakewood Ranch. It's the first time Stream Live Tampa's been here. We weren't here last weekend. We didn't start streaming games till this past Monday.
We head to the bottom of the second. 7-8-9 due up for the River Mocs. Benson, Ginder, and Mullis. Right in there to strike one to Benson. Sophomore out of Georgia State, Buford, Georgia native. 1 for 6 in week 2, but that one was a homer against the Slice on Thursday. Quickly behind 0-2 on the summer. Benson's 2 for 10 with an RBI that came off of that home run against the Bradenton Slice. 385 OBP, was 1 for 3 with a double against the Lynx in the opener. What feels like a month ago was, in fact, just 8 days.
I know that's an understatement. It does seem like it's been so long ago with such a build-up coming down here.
Benson hammers it foul. Held off on the change, 2-2. Morgan has such a quick motion. Really hides the changeup well. Can go to it at any point in the count. Fouled off. Good at bat from Benson, fouled off once again.
Yeah, not only she hides it, she does have like a little jerky motion with her hands and her glove at the beginning. It makes a batter think like, hey, something big's coming up, but It is awful deceiving.
She toes the rubber now. Another 2-2 to Gabby Benson. Low, count runs full. Well, for all the early in the count attacking we saw in the first inning, Gabby Benson has come up patient, fighting off, looking for her pitch. Payoff. She found it. It's poked over to second, and it gets under the glove of Frazier. The base hit to lead off the second inning for Gabby Benson. And the River Mocs in business here in the bottom of the second.
It wasn't the best angle Frazier took at that, but it did. That very last hop, it just stayed right on the ground. But it looked like it was a little bit too much of a lateral angle she took instead of coming back into the lip.
And now high school, as she is called, Claire Ginder. First pitch outside. Ginder led off most of the River Mocs early on games, but Coach Transu decided that's a lot of pressure to put on an incoming freshman. Moved her down a bit. Had a good game against the Slice on Thursday. Hitting 200 here this summer. Quickly ahead 2-0.
That's the psychology part of coaching. No one would have maybe moved somebody down a lineup, quote unquote, protect them a little bit less pressure. It's a good move by Transu. We'll see how Ginder responds.
1 for 9 here in week 2. Has had some strikeout problems. We've seen her chase the high stuff a lot in the early part of the league. That one is hit out to center. And Likens is there, her future teammate, for out number 1.
Yeah, I did see that picture floating around Twitter and social media this week, the 2 future Paladins. That's the fun part about this league. Some of these girls are that are coming in, the 2020 signees that are playing with the older players, are getting to play with and against some future teammates.
Alyssa Mullis takes ball 1. It'll be really fascinating next year when I'm with the Crimson Tide Sports Network following around Alabama and I see some of these names pop up as we're doing Cook's Pest Control scoreboard updates. It's always a lot of fun when you know some of these folks. 1-1 count to Alyssa Mullis. Out of Georgia Southern Junior last year, Juliet, Georgia native. 1 for 8 so far this summer, but was 1 for 1 as a pinch hitter against the Lynx last Thursday. Gets away. And Benson will meander down to second to put a runner in scoring position on what should be a pass ball. Suddenly an RBI chance for Mullis.
I was going to say I was going to compliment you on meander.
Well, of course.
Meander down.
Well, I've got the thesaurus in my backpack.
Absolutely.
1-2. Already 5 hits in the game for the River Mocs. Only 1 out here in the bottom of the second, but just 1 run has been scratched across the board. Fouled off. Over on the other field, top of the second, is now 3-2 fast pitch you over the impact. So off to the races already.
Trying to get off the schneid.
Another 2-2 upstairs. And for the second time in this inning, a River Mocs batter has worked it full. Got her looking on the outer edge. 2 down. First strikeout of the day for Abigail Morgan. And that brings Maggie Turgove, a 10-hole hitter, to the plate. Try and keep it going. Turgove out of Western Kentucky. Junior last year for the Hilltoppers. Turgo was 1 for 4 with an RBI against the Lynx last Thursday. 3 for 11, 273 average with 3 RBI here this summer. But 0 for 4 this week. to short. Tough play. It's off the glove of Flaherty. Coming in to score is Benson. 2-0 River Mocs.
Yeah, Maggie Turger, the JUCO transfer from College of Central Florida, down up 75 here in Ocala, played for Coach Kevin Fagan, the CCF Patriots.
And she advanced to second on the throw. And now Mac Leonard up. She's already singled. First pitch, base hit in the first. First pitch over to second. Nicely gloved by Frazier for out number 3. My goodness, Frazier with a hot shot, able to